Hello and welcome to another episode of Latitude. I'm Maroof Raza, and our top story. As Pakistan proposes fresh set of dates for talks with India, the big question is, can India trust Pakistan? Talks were last stalled after 2 Indian soldiers were killed and their bodies mutilated in January across the line of control. And the Pakistani government now is keen to improve relations with India, but can Mr. Nawaz Sharif's government take on the strong anti-India sentiment in Pakistan's armed forces? To discuss the highly fragile India-Pakistan peace process, we will be joined by Mr. Tariq Azim from Islamabad. He is currently a senator and was the information secretary in General Musharraf's regime. And to discuss the highly controversial British decision to impose a £3,000 security deposit on Indians regarded as high-risk visitors, we will be joined by Mr. Mark Runacres, former British Deputy High Commissioner in India and currently the head of the British Business Group in India. In keeping with his election promises, Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has taken the first steps to reinitiate the dialogue process with India. But New Delhi remains cautious, insisting that Pakistan must do more in the 26/11 attack investigations before India and Pakistan can go back to the composite dialogue process.
Earlier this year, the beheading of an Indian soldier on the line of control by Pakistan outraged an entire nation, derailing the dialogue process with Islamabad. Today, weeks after the new government came to power in Pakistan, Islamabad wants to restart the dialogue.
Pakistan has shown eagerness to resume the third round of sector-level talks with India with an eye on resolving the Sir Creek issue. This is coming days before the meetings between the Indian and Pakistani Prime Ministers on the sideline of UN General Assembly in New York.
India is said to be actively considering the Pakistani proposal, which will mean taking a step in the direction of the contentious Sir Creek issue, as also 8 specific pointers including Siachen, the Wooler Barrage, terrorism and Kashmir.
Pakistan is looking at a complete dialogue, which means that all open issues, which are contentious issues, we would like to see some forward movement. We are very realistic. We don't believe that we will see forward movement on all contentious issues at the same time. For example, whether it's Kashmir, for example, whether it's water issues or Siachen or Sir Creek or etc. But certainly we would like to see some forward movement, and all the grievances between the two countries have to be resolved in a dignified fashion.
But even as they seem to be wanting to extend a hand of friendship, Nawaz Sharif is covertly believed to be forming a secret K-cell which aims at putting the Kashmir issue back on the boil. Nawaz's new cell will monitor the fresh push on the Kashmir debate, which the previous Pakistan People's Party government had put on the back burner. The question is, can Pakistan then be serious in discussing and solving other issues that concern the two nations?
So far as this Kashmir cell is concerned, it depends on the intentions of Pakistani government and Pakistani establishment. Whether they want to create this cell to take on board the public opinion of their country for a resolution, or is it another attempt to create a roadblock? That will hugely depend on their real intentions.
Add to it an absolute lack of movement on the 26/11 case. Despite repeated warnings by India, Pakistan continues to harbour terrorists like Hafiz Saeed.
Dialogue with Pakistan, this was resumed in 2011. 2 rounds have been held since then, and we will be picking up the threads. There is a new government in Pakistan now. We will be picking up the threads from where we left off with the old government.
He had promised better cooperation with India within days of being elected as the Prime Minister. But the question is, can Nawaz Sharif deliver before September 2013? And most importantly, will the ISI and the establishments in Pakistan allow such a move? Pakistan's doublespeak is not exactly new. We have been betrayed in the past. Thus, the onus is on India to tread cautiously this time.
While optimists on both sides of the border are happy to see that India and Pakistan could soon start talking, it is the pessimists who are standing back and watching which of the two countries would go beyond domestic compulsions and take that big leap forward. And to discuss Pakistan's expectations from India, we have with us Mr. Tariq Azim, formerly the Information Secretary of Pakistan and currently a senator in Pakistan. Mr. Azim, is this offer of talks by Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to improve bilateral ties in the long haul, or is this purely to set the agenda for what Mr. Sharif and Mr. Manmohan Singh could possibly be talking when they meet in New York in September this year?
I think both countries are desiring that there should be a normal relationship between the two countries, and especially the people of both sides. What I have noticed from people-to-people contact, there is a strong desire on part of the people of both sides that they want to meet and have normal relations. And I welcome the statement made by Ms. Singh as she takes over as Secretary of Foreign Affairs, that they want to resume the dialogue. It's a welcome step. We already have some meetings lined up, one in late August, which will be the first meeting on water accord, especially Wular Barrage, followed by meetings on Secretary's Home Affairs. And then, of course, there is a big meeting coming up, which will be a review meeting in New Delhi. So things are looking up.
There are many in India who believe that Pakistan's immediate interest is to improve economic and trade ties with India. But if that were to happen, what can India expect from Pakistan in return?
Well, India needs ties with Pakistan for the same reasons. We have a big market, 200 million people, and Indian traders, they are looking forward to better ties so that they can trade with Pakistan. Of course, both countries will benefit. As Senator Kerry was visiting Pakistan, and he has said the same thing, that a good relation between India and Pakistan make life easy for the investors in both countries. If they feel the relationship is good, they are trading with each other, and we need good ties with Afghanistan too, of course. And that is good for India as well.
Pakistan is apparently keen to move forward on all long-standing issues and have the composite dialogue process resumed. But New Delhi is clearly cautious. What then could be the middle path that both sides could adopt to move things forward?
Start with the things that are doable, low-hanging fruits as we call them, things like Sar Creek, things like Siachen, which both countries know that they are doable, can be done very easily. Let's get these out of the way. But we cannot be very choosy, that we have to start with this first and then go on to the other one, and people should not talk about Kashmir, we should not talk about this. That should not be the case. We have to resolve all issues, including Jammu and Kashmir.
Experts in India are of the view that Mr. Sharif is unlikely to confront the anti-India terror groups in Pakistan, nor can he get the system to move dramatically fast and forward on the investigations of the 26/11 attacks on India. What then can India expect from Pakistan?
Nawaz Sharif is very clear. Wherever the terrorism exists, it has to be eradicated. We have paid a very heavy price. Over 40,000 civilians have been killed. Literally millions of people have been displaced. Even today they are displaced, living in camps, all because of terrorism. Over 4,000 of our soldiers have been martyred. We cannot afford this kind of thing. Of course, India should also realize this, that we are suffering, and we have suffered more than any other nation because of the terrorism in this area. So it is in our own interest. We are not doing it for India's sake. We are doing it for our own sake. We have to get rid of these people. All terrorists, whether they are on the borders, whether they are inside any city, we have been doing operations. Operations are going on as we speak in Karachi. It is go on in the border areas. Our army is at the moment taking part in operations all along India, Pakistan-Afghanistan border. So I think it's wrong for anybody to think that, we are not doing anything, or Mia Nawaz may be soft on these people. He cannot. He was himself attacked. Remember, in 1998 himself, there was a suicide attempt on him by these very people.
Thank you very much for those very detailed answers. Clearly, perceptions differ on both sides, and a lot of ground has to be covered before India and Pakistan could look at bilateral relations on an even playing field.